And what was the first song you actually joined, you said?
Named Rhythm Style.
Rhythm Style.
Yeah.
And they were in Northwest Miami?
No, they were in South Miami. South Miami, like Kendall. And then I rocked with them for a little while. And then in the midst of all of that too, even I was playing on the Power 96, and then there was this new radio station that emerged.
Yeah.
That culturally shaped Miami in a different way. No, it was a pirate radio station named Mix 96.
Yes.
And I would go on Mix 96 under Rhythm Style name because Power 96 is a commercial radio, so I had to play like songs that are pretty much more or less known and were more hip hop commercial influence. And then Mix 96, you could play anything because it was pirate. Exactly. So and through that radio station is where I met like DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled was also on that radio station. So you're talking, this is 25 years ago.
Crazy. Okay, I want to dig into this radio station because I've heard about this radio station for as long as I've heard about Miami. I've heard about a radio station. How did you set up, how was a pirate station set up back then, especially where there's no internet or anything? How did they set it up and where was this radio station? So
the radio station was started by this guy named Daddy Saw, rest in peace. He passed away from leukemia.
Okay.
Like a little bit after that. And then it was him and another guy we call Joey Butterfuco, which he now manages Buju.
Okay.
Yes. And then what they did is they had this arena in Miami. And basically the arena had this tall apartment building beside it. It was called Miami Arena at the time. It doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
In downtown Miami. And this tall building was about 38 stories. So they I guess they couldn't afford the 38 stories, so they were on the 37th, and they just hung an antenna up there with 100 watts, and it would pick up as far south as where I live.
Okay.
Yeah, with 100 watts.
And that's how the station was born.
And that's how the station was born. And this is before Serato. This is records. Like, so you literally had to like bring the records upstairs with elevators and all of that stuff.
Crazy. And then I guess they put together DJs. So this is Butterfuco and his partner running the station, and then the DJs coming in now with people like you, DJ Khaled. Who else was that?
Papa Keith. There was a girl named Lady Terra.
Yes, I remember her.
It was a bunch of different people. Like Cool and Dre was on there. You know, Cool and Dre, the hip hop producers.
Yeah.
Yes, so they were on there too. So you're talking. This is early Miami. So and the great thing about it, we're all still around. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Yeah, so a lot of people won't know this history. And I'm actually fortunate and will cherish these moments that I actually got to live through it. And that was the early days of the Fugees. And the Fugees actually blew up off of that station in Miami. You know what I mean? They actually went on there, and I think they were performing with Buju at one time, and then their thing went crazy. And that this is like before like the Fuji law and all of that stuff. And,
so this is Wyclef Praz and Lauryn Hill.
Yes.
And then I guess at this time, because New York, I don't think was known for pirate radio station. That was more of a Miami thing at that time there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking, pirate radio station wasn't nothing new, you know, but the ingenious thing that Daddy Saw did at the time, which was Butterfuco's partner, is that he know the higher up he goes, the longer range he can transmit. So if I'm not mistaken, he had it in Fort Lauderdale, but it didn't transfer far because he was low. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you look now and you see like these TV antennas or cell phone towers, they're high up.
Yeah.
So he figured that out.
Sometimes a little bit of knowledge could be a very dangerous thing, because why would you even know something like that? How could you figure that out?
And no YouTube or Google at the time, huh?
And it's somebody telling you, okay, so then what was the vibe like at that radio station? What type of music? What were you and Khaled doing and the other DJs and stuff?
It was mainly reggae, and then Khaled used to be the hip hop DJ in there. But it was the music that the streets wanted to hear. It was like the emerging music at the time, that the radio stations wasn't going to pull up, because, you know, radio stations, they just stick to what kind of works. And but with these programs on there, like said with reggae, we used to have a reggae station here, but it was AM, and then they wouldn't go as hardcore just based on censorship and stuff like that. But with this, we were playing the music that was emerging out of Jamaica and stuff like that, and it actually made and did a lot of wonders for reggae music and dancehall music in general, not only just from Miami, but because of these influential stations in Miami now. Yeah. People used to listen to Mix 96 and call in to Power 96, which is a legal station, and ask if they could play this song. And then a lot of the songs them got known because of Mix 96, like songs like Everyone Falls in Love Sometime, Tight Up Skirt, Red Rat, and like all these songs that blew up. Like Mix 96 was like pretty much the people that helped to break that.
Yeah, that's interesting there, because again, as you said, this is pre-internet, so this is basically like an internet station that you guys are running.
Yeah, this is like 90
picked up locally.
Yeah, this is like 95, 96, 95 actually.
Nobody's thinking about no internet then.
No, you remember back then cell phones? Like I'm talking, cell phones did exist, but not like this. You know what I mean?
No way.
You didn't have cell phones.
no way. Pagers, yes. Cell phones.
Pagers, yes. And then after it's like you would have to like go to a payphone now to call up and pray that somebody's there. And then they come meet you downstairs and so that was pretty much the process.
Crazy. Okay, and how long did that radio station last for?
That radio station lasted all the way up until probably just the other day, man. But like I'm talking due to there was a pirate radio station that will come in and out. But what that did know, they started some parties back in the day named Rockers Island, and that's when stuff really started to shine through. And like that's when Khaled really started to emerge as like an impact. And Khaled was always tied to the dance hall. And when he started, he actually started as a dancehall DJ. So that man knows as much about reggae as anybody else. You know what I mean?
He was originally a dancehall DJ that switched to hip hop.
Exactly.
No clue. Had no idea. I know he's been connected from time, but I didn't know that he started reggae and then went to hip hop. I thought he was always hip hop.
Yes, so let me tell you what happened now. So after the Mix 96 days now, while I was still on Power 96, by the way, I started making Khaled's remixes for him. But before, let me back up a little bit before, but all right, so my aunt now, back in 94, 95 now, she was investing in me and my cousin because she saw how serious we were. And then she spent $5,000 on this drum machine, which I still have today. Okay. MPC 3000, and then me and my cousin now going back to my rapping days, and we went to Spec Shang. You remember Spec Shang Specialist? Shabba Label. One of the guys that worked there, we went to him and we played him our stuff. We were all excited. We're young kids, and then he's like, basically give it up and go find a day job. So I got demoralized, and that's what made me like really just go back into DJing all the way. But I still had this drum machine. Yeah. So I made use of it, and that's when I started the remixes. So what triggered me to do the remix? I remember the remixes that Chinese Laundry used to do back in the late 80s, early 90s. But I wasn't really interested in remixing. What really got me interested is Delano. When Delano started to do the remixes. So I remember he looped the Natural Mystic beat, and then he put like another song over it, and I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so what I did know is because I had the ability to manipulate beats and all of that, because I had a drum machine, I started to do remixes differently than Delano. And then I started to put out remixes. Like my brother he had a record shop at that point, and then I would give him these remixes, and then he would press them on wax, which if you don't remember, like they had these remixes that I used to call white boy remixes.
Okay. What do you say? Why did you call them that?
Because they would never think it's a Chinese person. Yeah. And literally, that's the idea. But there was a remix that the only remix I probably ever asked for, and it wasn't given to me. I asked Master Lee at the time for it. Master Lee, when he used to play in Travelers.
Yeah. Okay.
And then after he wouldn't give it to me, and I just remembered it, and then I remade it, and but I put it on the hip hop beat 10 times better than the remix was, which was fed up. Well, poor people fed up, fed up, fed up. Well, poor people fed up on the Hate Me Now beat.
Okay, because since we're talking about that, that was the first time I met you, 99. That was a remix that you gave to Magnum Force, and they were playing in the dance before you guys started to play.
Yes.
That exact same one there.
Yeah, but that was on record. That actually was on record. And then after, remember, walk and live, talk and dead, walk and live. And they come on box like a bull at Chicago. I did that too. And you remember the Capleton hands up.
Yes.
Oh, that was all me. But nobody knew that at the time. And then what really gave me my break is that I started to give those remixes to Khaled and started to make his remixes, and then it blew Khaled up.
I see, because then now he has a different flavor that he's bringing to the party.
Exactly. So he popularized what I was doing, because you remember these were bootlegs at the time, so I couldn't make anybody. I never want nobody shoot. So yeah. So then what I did know is I gave these things to Khaled, and then after I started to make Khaled's own personal stuff, and this time now I transitioned to Poison Dart, which was a little bit, was a transition, and then I met you a little bit after that.
Yeah.
And then after that now is like Khaled blew up, like massive. And then, but Khaled didn't do this. Khaled didn't make mix CDs. So I used to go all the places with him now, and then I started to make Black China now.
This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinedmusichut.com.